Hey guys, welcome back. Gonna do a quick tips video strategy I'm using, what I'm basically doing to prepare for the GME, mother of all short squeezes. So I've been doing a lot of DD of my own. I've been reading a lot of other people's DD for months now. It's consumed me much more than I'd like to admit. And basically the conviction I have on this play is stronger than anything I've had so far in my I guess career in the stock market. So with that conviction, I was thinking I need to allocate more capital to this. I need to have my capital prepared. So first thing I did was I moved money from savings, basically put into the brokerage. It's fine if I don't use it, but to have it available immediately when I think this thing's going on, and if I want to strike with more capital, to be able to do that. Just a little heads up, because you don't know what's going to happen, and to move funds into an account takes time. I've seen people on Reddit, like, I don't know if it's true, but basically becoming homeless and holding on to GME shares. I'm not recommending that or recommending anything, and I'm definitely not doing that. Don't put in more than you can lose, but depending on your conviction, of course, you'll be more confident to put more in. So yeah, I just want it available. So I put more money. We moved over to our E-Trade. And so yeah, we've got like 30K in E-Trade now for it. And then in our TD account, we've got, I think, like 10. And then we've got, I'm planning on just using the E-Trade capital. But anyways, I was like thinking, why do I have money just sitting in a savings account? When this happens, I want to be able to go in heavy. And then at the very least, make the play free early on. We won't get into that though. Other things to think about to prepare for this are basically you've had 4 months since January, if you're new to trading, to learn how candlesticks work, how bid and ask spread works, how charts work, patterns, indicators, some technical analysis. I'm going to go over just a few simple ones that I think will be beneficial. Also, scaling in and scaling out. At this point, you've probably scaled in. If you haven't, you don't need to do a whole lot of scaling in my opinion. Just because if you think there's going to 5,000 a share, 10,000, 10 million, whatever, the difference between 177 a share it is right now, and if it dips down to 150, it's not a big difference at all. So you don't really need to scale in that sense. But scaling out will be very, very key if you're trying to capture the most gains with somewhat minimal risk. So yes, scaling out, not dumping everything all at once, is one of the strategies. Indicators I use, and then I'll go over quickly, briefly, are the MACD and the RSI. And then I think moving averages are good also. I have a simple moving average of 9 here, and then a simple moving average of 180. So that's counting 9 candlesticks. That's the average of 9 candlesticks, and this is the average of 180 candlesticks. And it works on any time frame. We're on the hour right now. Here's a minute. Here's daily. Doesn't matter what time frame, these moving averages work. And then we'll also be talking about volume. So I'd at the very least have these so you know when to start scaling out or selling some off or whatever. Or if you're going to hold all the way through, that's great. Good for you. Let's move on up here. So this is back in January. We're going to use this as kind of a sample data. So first thing we see, volume sticking in a certain range. You don't know that this is low volume until you have way more volume. And you'll see what I'm talking about as we move forward. So we're on the hourly chart right now. And then boom. Once we get this volume candlesticks, boom, all these look way smaller. So then okay, huge volume, huge green candle, big price action. And just for the indicators, I'll just go over them now. On the MACD, it's the yellow line. The blue line is the signal. I won't go too much into it, but basically the yellow line, the MACD over the signal, is bullish. And then when it crosses over the yellow line, MACD, below the signal line, it's bearish. And then also being above the 0 right here, kind of on the histogram, which the histogram are these lines here, that's bullish, and below it's bearish momentum, more or less. So right here it crossed over, MACD crossed over the signal, which is good. RSI, it's not going to matter a whole lot, I feel like, during the squeeze, but yeah, basically this is the relative strength index. So if you think about when you go to Walmart and something is on sale and you know the price of it really well, and it seems like, oh, it's really cheap, that'll be down here below 30 on the RSI. And then if you go to Walmart the next day and you know the general price of what that typically goes for, and then it's really expensive that day, that's over 70. So this is kind of the range that it trades in for that period of time. So this fluctuates depending on the period of time, of course. So in this time period right here was expensive, but during the squeeze, I think it'll be really high on the RSI for most of it. Have big dips down and up. That's why we'll use the MACD as well as volume, as well as candlesticks, and then moving averages. So we have the short-term moving average over the long-term moving average. That is bullish. That's what you want. So everything looks good here, and then we come up and we get huge volume. Okay, great. The first peak or two I think will be easy to, you don't even have to worry about it, because it's not going to be one peak in my opinion. I think we're going to see multiple peaks. I think we're going to be in it for at least a few days, if not a couple weeks. Could be a week, could be less. I don't know. No one can know. Tesla's short squeeze, if you want to call it that, has been going on for years. I don't think it's going to be that, and I don't think it's going to be a one-day squeeze like we saw on Rocket, because that was, in my opinion, that was a fake squeeze. It was starting to squeeze, and then they manipulated it down. I think once this starts to squeeze, I think it will be impossible, because it will be a bunch of different factors on why it's starting to squeeze, but it'll be causing a lot of different basically people that have to cover and get out of it. So if we look on we're looking on the hourly here, so we see huge volume. So okay, yes, it started. Just shut off your phone, shut off whatever, don't even look at it. I'd take a few hours even. If you have enough confidence, take a day, look at it the next day. Because look, it comes up here, got all this volume, we're all hyped up, it's shooting up, MACD, and then on the hourly, it's like, oh no, it's crossed over right here. And this is staying flat. And the RSI is coming down, which is good because it has to consolidate. So we're seeing here just consolidation. This is almost like a bull flag, where there's a big pull and then there's a flag. So it's holding there, as you can see, which is good. MACD did cross over, which is bearish. But that's fine. The 9 moving average is still over the long-term 180 moving average, and we haven't seen red candles below the 9 moving average. Well, actually we did right here. However, it held this floor, so we're looking at kind of a bull flag here. So, and also this is the first peak, so this would be easy. I'd just say no way. And you can also zoom out, and we will do that as we carry along, but for now I'll just stick with hourly. If you're not sure, just zoom out and you'll see everything's still looking good. Sometimes the time frame's a little too short and you just need more perspective. So set up a nice floor here. It's consolidating, and you can see that because it's holding levels. It's holding support levels. It's not breaking through. We're just having the RSI drop down, which is basically making this price more reasonable. So up here, this price, with how fast it was getting up there, it wasn't reasonable. And then as we just trade in this range, okay, it's becoming a more reasonable price. We're getting lower on the RSI. Reasonable enough, you get more buyers. Volume comes back in a little bit greater. Here's some more volume. Boom, huge. MACD still good. Came way up here. So this candle was huge and then it had a huge drop. So this would be, oh no, scary. If you're looking at it on the 1 minute, which you probably will be because you're going to be so hyped, you got to pull out 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 hour, pull out and look way bigger at the bigger chart. On the 1 minute, you're going to have huge drops, and I can show you. Kind of risky. Sometimes I don't do that on this chart. Yeah, dang it, it brought us back. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, if you're looking on the 1 minute, just pull out to the 10 minute, to the hour. Because if you look on the hour, this is just a big doji candle, but we're still setting up kind of a consolidation bull flag. MACD is still good. We're high on the RSI, but the MACD is still bullish. The moving averages are still right. Everything's still golden. So it's consolidating, and then boom, it's going up even more. RSI is really high at this point. MACD is still good. And then we get this huge candle. And this is, oh, scary. This is the peak. Again, it's not going to be one peak. This was a peak. This was a peak. Now, why would you still be in this? Well, if you zoom out and look, you're thinking, So here you could even see too. If you look at supports and resistances, I'm not going to talk about too much about that. But here there was kind of this resistance where it didn't want to get up over this number. If you draw a line here, you'll see that this would then become the support. So if we move over, you'll see, I think it holds that support. Yep, holds that support. And look at this, MACD almost, oh, it's gonna cross over. Oh no, it was the peak, I'm screwed. No, 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 the MACD is still good. RSI just needs to come down. This is now a more reasonable price. Okay, now look at this, we're running again. Same good volume going on all through here. Running again. Very bullish once we break new highs. Once we break this, RSI is going up, MACD is still good on the hourly. And then boom, look at that, way up here. Okay, we've got these huge candles. It's very scary, huge volatility. A swing from 273 up to 380 in 1 hour. Ooh, I'm sweating thinking about it. Okay, it's staying flat. That's good, it's staying flat, it's consolidating. And the RSI should be coming down a little bit, which it is. Moving averages are still good, MACD is still good. Volume's kind of tapering off a little bit here, but that could happen with consolidation. That has that big spike. So this, I'm not showing extended hours here. The squeeze back in January, a lot of crazy stuff happened in extended hours. So that's this gap right here. Let's see, 20, yeah, I think, yeah, 26 to 27. So it closed this day at 26 here, and then it opened way up here and it just kind of stayed flat. With the volume tapering off, we had this big green candle here, 482. And then we come up here, big red candle. So this is an engulfing candle basically, where it's a bigger candle than the one before, and it's a different color to make it crayons. But yeah, and you see the MACD almost wants to cross over. RSI dips way down. So you're right here, you're panicking. You think the thing's just gonna, there's no floor. It was just at 482. Now it's at 116. There's no way I'm selling. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna hold. Because there's gonna be a bounce from that. Because if you're looking on the short term, can we do this? Let me just do it. Let me go back. Looking on the short term. Oh gosh. Sometimes I hate Weeble's charts. Okay, I'm not looking on the short term. Look on the short term, it's like, oh no, this is bad. Very bad. But you'll see the RSI is way down here and oversold on the short term. MACD's crossed over everything. But it'll bounce. You got to zoom out to the longer term and see what's going on. Because when it's, remember again, when it's down here, it's a great deal and people are going to buy it. So it does this big bounce. This is on the hourly. Does this big bounce. And look, it's not coming up and consolidating up here. And you have this big red engulfing candle. So this is kind of, to me, the first tell. MACD is about to cross over. It doesn't. But seeing this candle next to this one, and that the MACD actually turned down and it was wanting to cross over, I could see, okay, if you held through this, you're doing good, because you're like, this is the scariest part right here. It does this big bounce and then you're like, wait, it's going to keep going. It's tough not to hold the here thinking it's going to go back up to here. And if it does, then great. You're setting up for another move to the upside. If it doesn't, see, it's kind of even making a resistance right here where this used to be support. So then this is where I would maybe scale out a little bit. And this is tough also because this is hindsight, so it's a little bit cheating. But with technical analysis, whatever, candlesticks, you kind of have to just go with this, and that's why you're scaling in and out. This could be a false breakout to the downside, then it goes up. There's possibilities. But then right here, see this? So if you wanted to wait for more confirmation and hold through that, then here you got the MACD that's crossed over, and RSI is just in the middle. But also you have this 9 moving average. This red candle is all below the 9 moving average. So that's also bearish. Then as we move down, so this was definitely a peak. Maybe not the top, but it was a peak. Then we have this, I think this was a day. Yeah, so it came down this day. And if you held through all that thinking, we're just consolidating, it's gonna go back up. And the next day opens way up here and you're super excited, but what's it doing? It's not breaking out to new highs, it's staying low. MACD is still bearish. It's below the signal, right? So then we just move down and it's just kind of staying flat. And this could be a long consolidation before another run up. I think on the real squeeze, that's what we'll have, because we'll have multiple peaks. So then you could hold through all of this. But I would say if it's the first peak, I wouldn't believe it at all. I think it's going to keep going because I don't think it's going to be like that. Or the first drop, I think it'll be multiple. But on this one, this was suppressed. This was when Robinhood shut off buying, and so did like 7 other brokerages. So this probably would have kept going. This was when it shut off actually right here on this candle. But at this point it is bearish, just so you know. The MACD's crossed over. We've got 9 moving red candles below the 9 moving average. It's coming down. And that was the top of that one. So you could have sold it right here on that one. Don't sell it here. Could have sold it up here, but this is all in hindsight. I mean, this could have been a consolidation to keep going up just like it was here, but we're just looking at our indicators here. MACD never crossed over. MACD crossed over here, but sometimes, you know, it's not perfect, but that's why you're scaling in and out. You could scale out some here and then hold more and then see that it's come up here, but it didn't break new highs, scale out some here, and it keeps kind of melting down, and then you could start scaling out more because you see the MACD is coming down. As well as the volume. See how the volume's all dipped down here? And that's partially because of brokerages. So then also you need to look at different time frames. So looking at even looking at daily, because this mother of all short squeezes could last, like I said, maybe weeks. So with the daily, it's going to be tough. It's going to be like, oh wow, these huge swings. If we're making new highs though, it's still trending up. It still has a pattern going up. And if the lows are getting higher and the highs are getting higher, it's on an upward trajectory, even if it has huge dips. You know what I mean? That's upward trajectory. It's doing that. And then this one dips down to here, but the high is up here. Even if it dips way down and it's higher, it's going up. This one again was it was stopped. So we see this big tail up here, and that's also bearish. But on the MACD, you can see it crossed over here. On the hourly, I use the hourly quite a bit, but I mean, you can look at 5 minute, look at any of that stuff, and but you kind of just want to change perspectives while it's going on. So that's kind of how I would scale out using indicators. I don't know if that's technical analysis, I guess, and then. Yeah, and then maybe this isn't the end. Maybe there's another whole nother run, because it could do this whole peak, come down, and then have another whole run. It's possible that totally could happen, because this one lasted what, 2 days, 3 days, and then it come down and then shoot up. It's possible that could happen. At that point, you have to decide: do you want to buy back in? What do you want to do? And at that point, also, hopefully, you have enough education to know, okay, you just had this peak. And then, but then the MACD crossed back over. RSI looks good. There's volume. The 9 moving average has green candles over it. You know, something like right here. But this is just a false breakout, which happens also. And you can tell because there's 2 candlesticks right next to each other. That's, and this one's engulfing that one. So that's a double top. But I'll show you what we did up here. So basically, I was watching it back there. I didn't do anything for the first squeeze. I just kept it on my radar, did a lot of reading of DD, kept watching it fall. I believe it still had something in it. Not like I do now. I have way more conviction now, but... And then I was watching it this day. And then, where was it? This day. I looked at my indicators and I got a lot of calls right here. I said something's different. It's all very bullish now. And then these calls from this day to this day, 14,000%. So I trust my indicators. I only put in like, I don't even know, $100, $200 on those calls. That's all I had a conviction for, and they turned out to be highest percentage calls I've ever had. But I wasn't prepared for this one back here, so I just wanted to observe it. I didn't want to FOMO. Wanted to just learn how and everything was working. But yep, that's what I got for you guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. Follow us on Twitter at HappyMoneyYT. We also have a Discord. I'm going to be chatting in here probably a lot during it. I might even be live streaming. I think I'll be my nerves will be going too crazy to live stream. They're going crazy right now, just talking and thinking about it. But yeah, I'll definitely be chatting during it, kind of saying some of my exits, and I'm going to be using options. I could do a whole other video on that. If any of this stuff was new to you, I definitely don't recommend using options. If this was all not new to you, you're probably not still watching. But just in case you are, you can look at some option videos. I would probably look at debit spreads and wait until the squeeze starts. Once the squeeze starts, the IV is going to be super high. Not to say it's not going to go higher, but in case if it's a kind of a false squeeze, you don't want to put a lot of capital into a high IV contract that will then just get plummeted. That's why I'd look into debit spreads, which basically gets rid of the IV for the most part, because you're selling contracts too. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. See you guys on the moon. Peace out.